In breaking news, looks like Cyril's back again for round two. Joining me is Ramon. What do you think, Ramon?
Yes, indeed. The nomination branch nominations have been released to the public, and as expected, unfortunately, the branches seem to favour Cyril's camp of the ANC. But that doesn't mean anything. Let us remember in the previous one at Nasrec 2017, a lot of Cyril's people were like way ahead in terms of branch nominations, but on the day of the vote, they didn't get in. Notably, the Secretary
Mm.
General was Ace Magashule, whereas the competitor, Mchudu, he had 500 extra votes at branch level, but at the time of the conference, he lost to Ace. So these are not set in stone. That's what you need to find out. But if they are set in stone, it's a joke. There's no other words to say.
Yeah. So it looks like our boy Mkize is not going to be up for the top position in the ANC. Apparently, he's got less than half the amounts of support as Cyril does. So, very unsurprisingly, it looks like Cyril may walk away with the head of the ANC. I think that's what everybody's been predicting.
Yep.
Obviously, the news likes to make it seem like the competition is a lot closer than it has been, but I think everybody knew that Cyril was going to walk the conference. The relevant questions are really the other positions that are going to be taking place. So it will be the deputy president of the ANC. In this instance, it looks like Paul Mashatile. Let's not forget that this is the guy the EFF says they want in charge of the ANC because, according to the EFF, he's an idiot. And if Ramaphosa leaves the ANC, he's the easiest guy to bully because he's a coward.
Yes.
So they we'd like this guy and we'd like him to stick around so that we can bully him and get our way back into the ANC.
And the interesting thing about Paul Mashatile, so he's part of the Alex Mafia. So Alex is Alexandra, a township in Gauteng. He's been part of the Gauteng ANC since Kingdom Come. Currently, I think he's acting Secretary General and Treasurer and various other things within the ANC. And under his tutelage or under his authority in those positions, the ANC has lost a record number of members and a record number of finances under
Yeah,
his.
well, let's not forget they bust. They
Yes,
can't afford to pay salaries.
they owe 500 million rand to SARS and to this and to that and to all
Mm.
the others. So Paul Mashatile as deputy president is a joke as well. So
Yeah.
we have
But arguably, under him, the ANC's finances have died and the ANC has died because, in terms of its support, in which case, we thoroughly endorse the nomination of Paul Mashatile.
yeah,
You think he would be brilliant? May he long live, Paul, and
Manda.
he can take that position because with him in charge, the ANC will die even quicker, according to existing statistics. That's not our
Indeed.
prediction. We're just taking a look at the stats.
Indeed. And the ANC are really not selling their best. And this is like the theme of the video. There's no one new, no one interesting. It's just the same old
Hmm.
horse crap. So what else? Interestingly, the deputy president of the ANC right now, David Mabuza, only garnered 77 nominations out
Nominations.
of
Yeah.
5,000. 77?
Yeah. So that means he's not actually up for a position at all. He's been
Yeah.
disqualified from the ballot.
Remember
So
how?
his name isn't even on there. He's not even up for consideration.
But remember how the regime media were like, "Oh, David Mabuza, the cat, he's deputy
Mm.
president. He's going to screw Cyril over, whatever."
Yep. And
Please,
then he's
guys,
and
a
then he's
muppet
going to
with no
he's going
money.
to overtake South Africa,
Like,
and
oh,
he's going to be the next crocodile. You know the crocodile in Zimbabwe.
yeah.
Like, but it just shows you how full of shit the mainstream news is, and how they'll just take any little snippet of news and just try to twist it into something that seems kind of exciting. But the guy he doesn't even have enough support to get his name on the ballot, let alone to win.
Yeah.
And is that really a surprise? I mean, they've all been like the cat. And what I really think they mean by the cat is, how sometimes your cat just disappears for days on end and you don't really know where he went?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much what they mean.
Well, he disappeared for 5 years and he only went to Russia. That's the only place we know he actually went to get like a heart transplant or something like that. But David Mabuza is nowhere. Nowhere. The greatest threat to Cyril is David Mabuza. Please. Please. Also, one name that's not on any of the ballots or any of the nominations,
The Lamizuma.
okay, her, but Ace Mahashule. The other,
He's not there either.
huge thorn in the side of Cyril is going to try screw Cyril so much during his first term. The mate, he didn't have like one fucking nomination, excuse my language, but there's not one nomination for the guy.
Mm.
And this is
So I
the.
think
Go ahead, sorry.
So I think Asen knows what we know, and that's why he was so against getting suspended from the ANC.
Mm,
Because let's not forget, the ANC is not a political party based on ideals. It is a political party based on personalities. So unfortunately, out of sight, out of mind, and the personality dies.
yeah.
And with it, any bullshit that goes behind them. And as we know, Ace Magashule has been barred from campaigning on behalf of the ANC. So he is really a case of out of sight, out of mind. And you can see that now reflected on the ballot because nobody nominated the guy.
So much for the huge opposition from Ace Mahashale to Cyril's presidency. And in terms of
Mm.
what all these nominations mean for the ANC come December, just stick with us because we're going to go to our sponsors, Bitvice. Let's be honest, Bitcoin is by far the best performing asset of the last decade, and a lot of people are using Bitcoin to hedge themselves against government overreach and fiat currency debasement, otherwise known as inflation. And that's why the guys over at Bitvice have developed their latest product, Sat Stacker. Essentially, you set a debit order, you accumulate Bitcoin every single month. Your Bitcoin won't be on an exchange, it won't be in anyone's hands, it will be directly deposited into your private wallet. So accumulate Bitcoin today, and every single month you set the price, you set the frequency, Sat Stacker does all the rest. In order to get started, click the link in the description below. And we are back. So Byron, I mean, the essential theme of this video is Cyril was never under threat from anyone in the ANC. I think we can all agree on that. Number two, he completely dominated and owned his first term. According to Cyril himself, he gave it his best shot. And number three, all of that shows Cyril is, I don't have the words to express myself without being demonetized, but Cyril is like an insanely incompetent muppet. That's the best way I can phrase it. Because it's all him. All his so-called enemies are nowhere to be found anywhere.
Yeah, I think we need to understand something as South Africans, and I'm sure everybody who watches this channel already understands this, and that is all of Cyril's failures over his time in office have been down or put down, according to the mainstream media, to the fact that apparently Cyril doesn't have full control over the party. If you cast your mind back, when he first took over control of the party, everybody basically said to you, well, apparently Cyril doesn't have full control and therefore he can't implement a reform agenda to the best of his ability because he's busy fighting campaign wars. We've heard about the RET faction and how strong that supposedly is, and we've heard about the Ramaphosa faction and how supposedly weak that is, and he's being assaulted from Ace Magashule and Dlamini Zuma and Mkhize and all these other different personalities. And what we are now finding as we get closer to the elective conference is that all of these supposed barriers that Cyril had never existed, which means that actually in reality, Cyril has to take responsibility for all of the failures of the state. All of the failures not to implement had nothing to do with his opposition. It had everything to do with his failure to lead from the front and just implement the reforms that this country was so sorely needing. So I suppose to a large degree, what you should really take from this, dear viewer of Morning Shot, is that Cyril's not a great reformer, but you already knew that, right? You already knew that Cyril was just a dirty commie bastard, just like the rest of them.
Indeed, and we need to really understand that the point of Ramaphoria, the point of the New Dawn, the point of all that was completely regime media apparitions constructed to make him
100%.
look like this great guy. And when he didn't perform, they made various excuses for him, from COVID to internal politics of the ANC. He doesn't really want EWC. He doesn't really want expropriation. These are just things that he needs to do because no, all that is utter bullshit. He is responsible for everything that has happened. He likes EWC. He likes BE. He keeps telling us how much he likes BE.
He
Why
loves
don't you
it.
just believe him? You know? It's not because the ANC likes BE. No, he likes it. He's the one that's pushing it. He pushed EWC. He pushed the COVID lockdown. He pushed this new social grant bullshit. He's pushing the NHI. It's all him, not his enemies. He's not doing this to appease anyone. There's no one to appease based on these
There
nominations.
is no one to appease. That's 100% correct. And everybody thinks, well, Cyril's only taking these positions so that he can get some votes. What votes? He's basically unopposed. And look at everybody who's going into the camps that will be in the deputy positions and the other party positions. They're all Cyril fanatics. In fact, one of the positions we didn't cover is that of the actual Secretary General, which, would you know it, it's actually going through to the guy who lost the so called elective conference in KZN. You know that guy that was beaten by the RET faction? Yeah, apparently he's going to be Secretary General. But he's a big, massive Ramaphosa fan.
Yeah,
So
and loser,
Ramaphosa's people are in all the top positions.
and they're all losers, guys. They're all losers,
Mm,
right? The KZN Secretary General, loser. He lost. Paul Mashatile has never done anything of significance in his life. The only thing he's done is diminish the ANC's finances and made sure a lot of members left. The
yeah.
rest doesn't actually matter. Uh, Fikile Mbalula wanted to be Secretary General. He was Cyril's favorite. That already tells you Cyril's like a bit retarded. But even
Mm,
he lost, only amassed 750 nominations compared to
hmm.
thousands by the previous guy. Like this is a party of losers. And Cyril's the
100%.
head loser of this entire thing.
100%.
And all the
100%.
excuses we've heard for 5 years has been utter nonsense.
And so the question that everybody should be asking themselves is what's going to happen to our favorite love childs of the current ANC? Sisulu, where's she going? Because remember, she's actually said Cyril is complicit in every failure of this country, and she's actually called for Cyril to be locked up. Well, she's currently Minister of Tourism. Do you reckon she's going to stick around? What about Mr. Fix It himself? What's he going to do? How about Patel? Patel, arguably the guy responsible for killing South Africa's economy. Remember, let's not forget, this is the guy who banned chicken and open shoe toes during lockdown. Where's he going? And the famous Witch of the West, Delamizuma. What position is she going to take? Because she's arguably fucking nowhere.
Indeed.
So,
Indeed.
interesting times.
I mean, really, the only thing you need to worry about, dear viewer, is everything that happens from Becky Taylor being Minister of Police for this long, despite the crime rate spiraling, Lindiwe Sisulu being Tourism Minister, despite there being no tourism whatsoever, and saying that Constitution is bullshit, which we agree with, by the way, very based. Basically, this is. It's true, though. But basically, the moral of the story is everything that has happened to make your life shittier is due to Cyril and his wishes, not due to anyone
Mm.
else, not due to circumstances, not due to Ace Magashule or David Mabuza or anyone else. It's Cyril himself. And he's such a loser, the ANC are going to vote for him again to lead the party once more.
Not being
Which,
funny, mate, but who the fuck else are they going to vote for? Like, we know it. We were hoping they would vote for someone else. Anyone. We don't care. Because whoever they vote in will just kill the ANC. The
yeah,
only person with any form of credibility left in the ANC is Ramaphosa. And everybody thinks he's a Ramaphosa. So let's be honest. Like, how much credibility does the guy really have? And if you're going, well, he's the best hope that ANC has, shit, man. And imagine how bad everybody else is.
yeah, I mean, the amount of retardation is just astounding, even to me. But anyway, that's the moral story. Let us know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on this? Are you happy for the ANC? Are you sad? Do you want NTZ to be president like we do? We're more than happy to read all of them.
And why would you want to live anywhere else when you have this as politics, man? Our politics are brilliant. You go to Europe and everybody's like, order, order. And we go, your mama dropped you on the head when you were a baby. Like, our politics is just funny. Why would you want to pay attention to any other politics?
Just
Ours
a
is just
just a grand comedy. Just accept it. Anyway,
absolutely.
thank you for watching, everyone. See you next time.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye.